Now I'm going to share my screen and walk us through some poll results. Slideshow. Okay. Bear burdens, bear fruit. As we increasingly bear burdens, grow in strength, then over time we will bear fruit. That's where we're headed this morning. All right, so here's the in-person poll results. We had 36 people respond. For those that responded, thank you so much. And as you might imagine, we continue to want your feedback. Several people have actually responded post taking the poll and said, hey, I would change some things in light of COVID kind of hitting our home or our town a little bit closer. So this is not like final things, but I did want to share with you all. Let me move this over so you can see. Okay, to the question, would you prefer to meet at 10 a.m. at the Boys and Girls Club? Oh, the ampersand messed up, that's okay. Or 4 p.m. at College Heights Baptist Church. Over 80% of our church family prefers the 10 a.m. spot at Boys and Girls Club over our 4 p.m. spot at College Heights Baptist Church when we go back to gathering in person. So we will, the next time we meet in person indoors will be at Boys and Girls Club. We are making that decision. We've made that decision as an elder team in conjunction with the servant leadership team and with this in-person poll. And we're very excited about that because when we started our church plant, we understood and knew and talked about early on that eventually we need to get to Sunday mornings. So if you remember, if you've been a part of the church plant from the beginning, we started Sunday evenings because we needed a facility that could handle kind of the driving factor there, knowing that eventually we need to get to Sunday mornings. And that need to get to Sunday mornings has continued to be reinforced in conversations we've had, things we've learned just about church planning across the whole country. And we're always willing and able to talk more about that because I think there are some who really strongly prefer 4 p.m., but the overwhelming majority in our church is to stay at 10 a.m. and the Boys and Girls Club is the next best option, or is the best option for us moving forward. So I want to share that. We are going to work things out with Boys and Girls Club and then begin to let go of our lease with College Heights Baptist Church. And so from my perspective, that's very exciting. That's a big step, pivotal point in the life of our church. So if you need, especially if your kids are watching and you want to like drive by or walk by or bike by Boys and Girls Club and begin dreaming about that space, praying for that area, for that space. And if you want to go back and watch a video that I put together a couple weeks ago, you're more than welcome to do that. And we want to celebrate our 2 years with College Heights really well. So we're going to be talking with them to see what that might look like. Of course, everything is difficult and up in the air with COVID-19. And in fact, you may have seen Boys and Girls Club had to shut down for a brief time already because of COVID case hitting their staff. So all of this is kind of, we'll continue to make decisions as we go here. Okay, next question. How soon are you comfortable with meeting in person for central gathering? So there's several options here. Some people put their own options in there, so it might be a little confusing, but if you look at the information, about a quarter of the people responded said they're ready now. Some of that may have changed because COVID-19 has hit our community a lot more since this poll was taken. Some people are ready, about a quarter of the people ready mid-July, 20% early August, and then about a quarter want to wait and gather and make more data before making a decision. So this isn't going to determine exactly what we do, but it gives us an idea that there are several in our church that are eager, ready, excited to meet in person. And then there are several who are cautious and maybe increasingly cautious as we've seen COVID get a little bit closer to home. And so we're taking all that into consideration. And whether we meet indoors at Boys and Girls Club sooner or later, I personally am wanting to really explore some outdoor options, which will require strong Wi-Fi or some connectivity so we can keep our Zoom option going. So if you're listening and if you're wondering what we're doing moving forward, we are going to keep Zoom for the foreseeable future. And so even if we begin to meet in person, but you're uncomfortable or want to play it even safer, you are more than welcome to continue Zooming in. And if for some reason, our community is hit by COVID, for someone who's in an in-person gathering, we will just go to that 2-week self-quarantine mode and keep Zoom going. So we want that flexibility, want to be nimble, keep Zoom going, and keep exploring our in-person options, even if it is an outdoor thing. So I know I'm moving kind of quick here. This is exciting for Miss Alicia, especially for our whole church. Are you willing to serve in Sprouts, our children ministry? 61% of the 34 responses on this one said yes. So I haven't done that math, but man, that seems like a good pool from which to draw. And 32% said maybe, meaning that we just need to do a little work to convince you to invest in our children. And that is amazing. For those that said no, that's cool. Maybe today, as we talk about expanding your bandwidth, maybe that would be a smart experiment you would try. Hey, I'll give Sprouts a whirl and see if I might grow in strength there. But, that's okay. So that's a big question for our church, because we have a lot of kids. And, we're growing much faster through childbearing than we are through neighbors visiting our church. And that's awesome that we're growing that way. But, our kids need care. And so volunteers are very important to the life of our church. And then another question, if you have kids, how soon are you comfortable having kids in Sprouts? And this isn't quite exactly the same as when we would gather that response there. One of the challenges is we do have so many kids. So if we begin to meet in person, then it comes questions like, well, what kids programming are we going to offer? And if we don't offer the full throttle Sprouts, do we have families physically distanced, and is that actually practical for our community? And so that's why that's an important question in there. And we'll keep paying attention to that and thinking through that. A lot of the churches that I've heard of that are meeting in person still don't have their kids programming in place. And a lot of them, their numbers of kids to adults are much less. And so it makes sense for them to begin meeting in person, even without kids programming. For us, maybe it makes less sense because we have so many kids who we love and are very excited about. So I want to share that. A few responses here, and we won't read all these, but I really appreciated the time that people took to just give their feedback. So this first one about retaining Zoom, which we're going to do, we want to take that up. St. Luke's Lutheran, someone took us up on sharing new facility options, and we've actually looked at that space and are in touch with that space. A couple people commenting they would love to support an organization like Boys and Girls Club. Convenience side, people are excited to do this. Let's get creative with setup and tear down. Maybe we'll, for a season, use camp chairs to set up so we don't have to buy new chairs and have a setup crew and storage crew. Lots of different ideas. Okay. All right, I knew I flew through that. And we will keep talking about that in the weeks to come. But long story short is we will continue to do Zoom, even when we move towards meeting in person. I'm going to be exploring some outdoor options, and that a lot of that's dependent on the technology and stuff like that. The times that we have met outdoors at City Park, the people that got together, was really, really fun. So we want to really explore that. And we are going to let go of the College Heights lease and move towards Boys and Girls Club. So stay tuned. Keep persevering, stick with us, keep the feedback coming, and let's keep dreaming together and moving forward together.